you struggling with an addiction? I know what you're going through. You're stuck in your head, drowning in those thoughts that whisper just one more hit, one more episode, one more hour. That cycle is a prison. It's sweet poison and will rob you of your potential in the end. I've been there too, gripped by those urges, fighting battles in my own mind, stuck in bad habits like fapping or wasting hours on social media. I know what that feels like. It's like being in a cage that you can't see, but you feel it every single second. And here's the ugly truth. No one's coming to save you, not your parents or your friends. No one's going to magically show up and pull you out of that mess. It's on you to save yourself. But don't worry, I'm about to show you an unusual roadmap you need to follow if you're ready to actually change. Not some watered down advice, but real strategies that work. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to uproot your addiction, and not just temporarily, but for good. This isn't going to be easy, it's a battle, but I'm here to show you how to win. There are 5 steps that pulled me out of the pit, and today they're going to pull you out too. So pay attention. Step 1. Foundation is key. Build a strong foundation. The first step to quitting any addiction is having a powerful reason. Your reason for quitting must go beyond the short term. It must touch on long-term life goals, whether it's about confidence, relationships, success, or health. Ask yourself why you want to quit and how this addiction is negatively affecting your life. I used to think purpose was something you had to find, but I've learned you create it. You see, the biggest cause of most addiction is not peer pressure or poor upbringing, but a lack of meaning or purpose in life. Simply put, individuals who feel a sense of meaninglessness are more prone to substance use disorder, SUD, whereas more recent studies have proved that a strong sense of purpose can improve recovery outcomes and reduce the likelihood of relapsing. Without something to focus on, your brain will always search for easy dopamine hits to cope with feelings of boredom and emptiness. But when a man has purpose, there is no room for meaningless distractions. Ask yourself, what are you working toward? What drives you every day? I advise young men to start small, making their purpose improving physically, mentally, and emotionally, as this will set the ball rolling. A bonus technique is to use pressure wisely. Pressure can be a great motivator. Declare your goals to people you respect and put yourself in situations where failure is not an option. This external accountability will keep you on track. Step 2. Hate the addiction. Most gurus and experts out there don't really understand how addictions work. They'll tell you to set a quit date or distract yourself when you feel tempted, but it just doesn't work, because addictions are tied to deep emotional cravings like pleasure. Hence, you must use an equally strong emotion like hatred to counter the addiction. I know society tells us that hatred is a dangerous emotion, but every superhero you know is just as dangerous as the villains. The only difference is superheroes use their abilities for good. So use hatred to kill your bad habits. Begin by writing down how your addiction is destroying your life. Be brutal. How is it stealing your future? How is it holding you back from becoming the man you were meant to be? I advise you to go much darker, to the point where the anger is visible on your face. When I did this, I wrote down how porn was making me feel weak, how it was sapping my motivation, and how it was stopping me from being the man I wanted to be. I read that list every day and added even more to the list. And as time went by, it flipped a switch in my brain. The addiction was now the enemy. Step 3. Replace. Don't erase. You can't erase old habits. You can only replace them. Now that you have a strong purpose and hate the addiction, it's time to fill up the void it left behind. One thing I've learned is that boredom and negative thoughts are your worst enemy. They creep in like thieves, stealing your willpower, pushing you back into habits you swore you'd leave behind. If your mind is left empty, it's going to fill up with whatever it can, and that's usually all the wrong stuff. That's why you need to build daily actions that align with your ultimate goals. Whether it's getting healthier, more productive, or wealthier, make sure your daily habits reflect your long-term ambitions. Start small but stay consistent. Recognize that the habit isn't enjoyable. It's just a distraction from deeper issues. It's a short-term escape from boredom, stress, or sadness. When you realize this, you can lower the pedestal you've put it on and seek healthier ways to deal with these emotions, like engaging in hobbies or exercising. Once you've figured out the emotion tied to your addiction, for example, greed for gambling or boredom from mindless scrolling, it's on you to find ways to fix the greed or boredom problem. Otherwise, it would lead to other habits later on. With that said, instead of focusing solely on avoiding the bad habit, e.g. smoking weed or alcohol, focus on building positive habits to replace them. Exercise, learning a new skill, or working on something you are passionate about can be an effective substitute. With time, the old negative habits lose their appeal as new, beneficial routines take their place. It's simple but very effective. So the point is, if you want to learn a new language, replace TikTok with Duolingo. If you want to get more fit and productive, get the right apps like Home Workout and Blinkist, while you cut back on those that don't help you reach your goals. Because habits once formed cannot be erased but can be altered. Step 4. You've got to own your body. You want the truth. You are not separate from your body. What you feed it, how you treat it, it's all connected to your mind. You can't expect to beat an addiction when you're filling your belly with junk food, skipping workouts, or being a couch potato potato. I'm serious about this. I used to eat like trash, processed food, sugar, you name it. And guess what? My energy tanked. My mind felt like it was swimming in fog, and every decision I made pushed me deeper into my worst habits. It wasn't until I got my diet together and started training hard that I started to see a way out. My mind felt sharper, clearer, like I was actually in control again. So stop treating your body like a garbage disposal. If you want to break out of addiction, it starts with treating your body with the respect it deserves. Lift weights, run, eat clean. Do it consistently and your mind will start following suit. With that said, the journey won't be smooth and you may relapse one day. That's why you need to master your urges. When you face strong urges, don't panic. Separate them into what you can control and what you can't. If you can change the root cause, like your environment or routine, do it. There's no point stuffing your fridge with cakes and chocolate. If you're on a diet, no need to bring home a pack of cigarettes or take your phone to bed. Instead, make these triggers hard to come by. If you can't control it, like the tempting McDonald's in your neighborhood or workplace, learn to cope with it using awareness techniques like yoga or meditation. The fewer cues you have to indulge in bad habits, the better. And finally, step 5, don't fight alone. Here's the thing that most guys won't admit. Loneliness is a killer. Men have always existed in tribes in ancient times. But in today's modern day, we're told to man up, to face our problems on our own. But in reality, isolation only makes things worse. When you're alone, those demons in your head get louder. And before you know it, you're falling right back into the trap. You can't do this solo. I used to believe I didn't need anyone, that I could handle everything on my own. But that was just my ego talking. Combined wisdom is greater than singular life experience. It wasn't until I started reaching out to people and forming real connections that I realized how much I was missing. Whether it was reconnecting with old friends, joining communities of people who actually gave a damn about growth, or even just talking to close trusted brothers about the struggles, that's when I started to see the wisdom and benefits that comes from connecting with others. You need to find your tribe, people who are on the same path, guys who won't let you sink back into your old ways. And don't tell me you don't know anyone like that. It's 2024, there are a million communities out there waiting for you to step up. Don't suffer in silence. It's not weak to reach out, it's a necessity. Furthermore, you should prepare for relapses. Relapsing doesn't mean complete failure. Compare it to a cracked window rather than a collapsed house. Identify what made you fall back, what thoughts came through before you gave in. Learn from it and put a system in place so that it doesn't happen again. So here's my challenge to you. Start uprooting that addiction today. Start by setting up a purpose, even if it feels small now. Then start hating the weakness. Write down how it's stealing your future and be brutally honest. Finally, change your environment. Start building new habits. Take care of your body and surround yourself with the right people, because the man you're meant to be is waiting on the other side of this fight. I know you've got what it takes to break free. Let me know in the comments, what's the first step you're taking today? What's the first chain you're breaking? We're all in this battle together and I'm with you every step of the way. Let's take back control, starting today. In upcoming videos, I'll show you how to make quitting your addictions less painful and more enjoyable. So turn on the notifications so you don't miss it. For those of you specifically struggling with porn addiction, feel free to check out this video if you want more insights. Until next time.